I think a tremendous amount of intentionality has to be placed around the way we do training and the way we think of training. Culture is so difficult to create in the best of scenarios in our businesses. And it's next to impossible when we can't be together. And I believe that good training is good culture. And really great culture has to be engineered. It doesn't just happen. Or at least it can't just happen if we're all far, far apart. So these are kind of some of the things that are really heart and soul and center in the way that we've approached business in this COVID world, and the way we see the post-COVID world going as well. I think we all know that recording a Zoom meeting isn't quite enough to call it great training. When someone new comes on, you will train them. You will onboard them. You need to onboard someone even when things change just a little bit. And we've been using this term reboard. Think about reboarding someone into a different situation. And when it comes down to training, there's three things that I recommend: intentionality, intentionality, intentionality. Just think hard, be very thoughtful, and make sure it all comes back around in alignment to your values. We work primarily with chief executives and leaders, business leaders, with our clients. And I think as business leaders, we are all kind of the shepherds of our company's values. And I don't think it's ever been more important than it is today. And I think the best way to make sure that your team can internalize and appreciate and live your company's values is for you to demonstrate that you're listening, and that you demonstrate that you care, and that you are exhibiting them yourself. It was interesting. It was somewhat inspired by an impossible need from one of our clients. Our client was supporting the creation of a brand new ventilator, and they needed some training created overnight for their client. And overnight training is not, overnight online training is not a thing. That's not something that was ever on our menu or our price list. And of course, that individual who needed to be on camera to record that video, they're in Texas. So we found a solution that leveraged technology to allow us to direct a remote video shoot that was much higher quality than what you get when you're recording Zoom, with all respect to Zoom and this new Zoom land that we live in. And my team was able to pull an all-nighter and get that thing digitally shipped off the next day. It's always been our mission to revolutionize learning and to empower the workforce. And it's been interesting, you go back 10 or 12 years, 14 years, the companies that were doing online learning back then were early adopters, right? No longer, and this is kind of at the heart of our pivot, is online learning, remote learning. That's not an early adopter thing anymore. That is a thing that has been thrust upon all of us by this situation.